Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, the man accused of setting a pub in Rapid River on fire earlier this month appears virtually in court. His attorney is requesting a competency exam. Plus, another candidate is throwing her hat in the ring, looking to unseat Carl Bonac in the race to represent the state's 109th district. And we have a recap after Upper Peninsula veterans return from their journey to Washington, D.C. on the UP Honor Flight. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Welcome in. We have a first check of weather. We are going to see some, again, pretty comfortable temperatures for tonight. We are seeing mostly dry conditions as well as partly to mostly cloudy skies. So not the best conditions to possibly view an International Space Station for tonight, but at least we'll keep the rain out of the area and we'll continue to do so for the rest of the overnight stretching into tomorrow morning. Temperatures for tonight will be into the mid-50s and we are still going to see some decent temperatures and a lovely weekend ahead. Stay tuned. I'll have your full details.
Kelly, thank you. A competency evaluation has been ordered for the man accused of committing an arson attack on the Rapid River pub. Following the September 1st attack, law enforcement arrested 33-year-old Stephen Prestridge. Today, he appeared in court virtually from the Delta County Jail on one charge of second-degree retail fraud and one charge of arson, preparation to burn real property. Prestridge's attorney requested the competency exam, saying that she had difficulty discussing the charges and court proceedings with him.
At times, Mr. Prestridge seemed incoherent. He would get off on a tangent that was unrelated. I had trouble understanding what he was speaking about. He made some nonsensical statements. I have the belief that he might not be able to aid in his defense.
Prestridge must undergo his competency evaluation before the case can proceed further. Another candidate has been added to the ballot in the race for the Michigan House representing the 109th District. Negaunee Physician's assistant Anna Rink joined the race this morning, announcing her candidacy from the steps of the Marquette County Courthouse. Flanked by supporters and family, Rink was joining the Democratic field of legislative hopefuls vying to unseat Republican Carl Bonac. Rink is an outspoken advocate for women's reproductive rights, having worked for Planned Parenthood for 17 years. Rink says the people of the UP should have more control over the issues facing the district.
I'm really ready to stand up and fight for the needs of UPers. I am so tired of us succumbing to cuts to access to health care and getting the short end of the stick by decisions made from folks outside of the UP.
Rink is a product of Marquette Public Schools and a graduate of Grand Valley State University. For the third time this year, a group of UP veterans had the opportunity to visit multiple national memorials yesterday aboard Upper Peninsula Honor Flight Mission 27. Our own Andrew Hands was along for the trip and tells us about the journey.
I've been to Washington, D.C. before, but I've never felt like this about it.
78 veterans who served this country in times of the Korean and Vietnam Wars boarded the Upper Peninsula Honor Flight Mission 27 out of Delta County Airport early Wednesday morning. Upon their arrival in Washington, D.C., the veterans received a very cordial welcome.
Getting off the airplane here made me cry, you know. People were so nice and so thankful, and it was just wonderful.
Throughout the day, the group made stops at about 10 different memorials to pay their respects. For many, memories were hard to avoid.
That's something that gets you right in the gut. I'm 74 years old and it's just as fresh as if it happened yesterday. Loss of life and injury hurts this country more than you can ever imagine.
Aboard Mission 27 were a number of prominent members of service who often go unnoticed. These veterans all made the brave push to serve, going to show that upholding responsibility is the best thing you can do for the United States.
This is our country, you know, and we need to take care of it. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, whatever you are, it's your responsibility to take care of it as much as anybody else's. You know, and I'm glad that I did that.
Alongside each veteran stood a guardian. These were loved ones, sons and daughters, even some who just met their veteran the night before, standing by in support. Organizers of the Upper Peninsula Honor Flights work year-round to make sure these veterans can have this opportunity.
I'm thankful to be able to come here, and I thank everybody that had something to do with this honor flight, because it's in a way, it's a little healing.
People have been oh so nice, all of them, everybody. So, and I'm lucky I got my daughter with me.
On the return flight, vets were given a mail call, receiving letters and pictures from family and friends. After landing back in the UP, the flight was met with a heavy amount of support to welcome the veterans home with honor. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Andrew Hands, WZMQ 19 News.
And we will have more coverage on yesterday's flight tonight at 11:10 Central. Your first warning weather forecast is after the break. Kelly will give us a preview of what we could expect for the upcoming weekend. And later, a government shutdown is looming in the nation's capital, and healthcare is at the center of the fight. We'll have the latest from Washington, D.C. when we come back.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
Welcome back. The countdown continues, only 4 days away from the autumnal equinox, which is this Monday, and it is of course the official fall. So these next future casts and everything you're looking at right here is pretty much your last days of summer. So soak it all in. We might have some showers for the rest of the evening, as well as stretching into the overnight, even into tomorrow morning. We will still see that summertime sun though, and looking dry for any of the Friday night lights or Friday night plans for you. But then getting into Saturday, a few more showers likely creeping into the area, but then we'll kind of dry things back out for Sunday. So a bit of mixed as we head through the weekend. It will be mostly cloudy tonight, but there still is a possibility to be able to see the International Space Station from the west-northwest to the north-northeast, maximum height of 33 degrees for you. It's visible for 4 minutes. So last night's was 2, this one's 4. You might get some decent breaks in the clouds to be able to see it. But best of luck to you for all you stargazers out there. And we are looking at really lovely conditions for these Friday night high school football games. Menominee at Calumet, still going to be a bit breezy for there into the upper 50s. Kingsford at Negaunee, mid 50s. Escanaba at Sault Ste. Marie, lots of sunshine with temperatures upper 50s, lower 60s for the start of the game. Of course, it'll get a bit cooler through the rest of the game, and as you start to head back home, just make sure to have the jackets, maybe even the hot cocoa if that's something you need at 50 degrees, but I'm sure we all are fine with the cold. But it's not going to be too bad for the Friday night light games. We'll keep an eye on the potential for some showers. I do just think things will stay mostly cloudy for Friday, maybe a few extra chances of rain for Saturday, and then we get into Sunday, maybe a few more showers. They'll be very scattered and isolated though, so any showers that we do see over the weekend shouldn't completely ruin those outside guide plans for the last weekend of summer. We're still keeping an eye too down to the tropics. This is right off the coast of San Juan, Tropical Storm Gabrielle. It's going to basically stay forecasted to be parallel to the coastline here, so not really forecasted to impact any land. Also forecasted to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane. Currently has winds of about 50 miles per hour, and this was kind of the same as yesterday, so we're not seeing any of that rapid intensification, which is always good. We'll keep an eye on it, but it likely won't impact any land for you. Still keeping that summertime feel though. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook still does have us trending warmer than average. This has been the consistent picture of it. I promise it's not broken. We are really just going to be seeing and feeling those warmer temperatures really across the entire country too for the next 10 days. So we'll round off September in style. We're also going into tonight with very comfortable temperatures, mid-50s, mostly cloudy, but overall not too bad, very comfortable. And there's still some summertime-ish weather as we head into the last weekend of summer with a few isolated showers, maybe a storm. And as we head into next week, of course, your first day of fall is this upcoming Monday, and we'll kind of keep status quo, nice little reset as we coast through the mid to upper 60s.
Kelly, thanks again. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are scrambling to strike a deal to keep the government open with just 2 weeks left before the September 30th deadline. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon explains how the fight is shaping up and how health care is front and center.
The countdown is on. In less than 2 weeks, the government could shut down unless Congress can agree on a funding plan. On Wednesday, Democrats unveiled their own proposal, a 1-month stopgap bill. It won't pass in the GOP-controlled chambers, but it's designed to show where Democrats stand.
We are confident when the American people contrast these two proposals, they're going to side with us.
Their plan calls for extending Affordable Care Act subsidies, reversing spending cuts from the Trump administration, and restoring Medicaid dollars that were cut in the Big Beautiful Bill Act.
For me, when the president signed into law the Big Beautiful Bill, he basically said, I'm going to make you sicker and poorer. And I want to have a conversation particularly about health care.
Republicans accuse Democrats of changing the rules and playing politics by demanding concessions this late in the game.
They have had the opportunity to negotiate. There are anomalies in there that the Democrats wanted in there. We are doing this the way that used to be done, and that is allowing the Appropriations Committee and the respective chairs and ranking members to do this the right way.
Our country's not right now where we need more of that kinds of chaos to shut the entire government down.
Senator John Fetterman called a potential shutdown dangerous and said he would back the GOP spending plan.
I would never ever hold the government open as a hostage, saying if you don't do this, then I refuse to keep our government open.
But support from 6 more Democrats will be needed in the Senate to pass any spending plan because of the Senate filibuster. It's for that reason Senator Alyssa Slotkin and others want to negotiate further.
I'm a realist. I know I'm not going to get everything that I want, but is it my job to fight for the lower cost of health care? Absolutely. And is that my starting place? Yes.
Reporting in Washington, Brendan Scanlon, WZMQ 19 News.
Coming up next, Jimmy Kimmel Live has been indefinitely suspended following statements made by the host on the show earlier this week. We'll have more on that when we come back.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. Jimmy Kimmel's fate at ABC is up in the air after the network indefinitely suspended the late-night host over his comments about the murder of Charlie Kirk. Gwen Baumgartner has the latest from Los Angeles.
Jimmy Kimmel is off the air for now, and the news brought a small group of protesters to the studio where he tapes his long-running late-night show. The controversy erupted over comments he made Monday night.
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
ABC took action after the nation's largest local television company took a stand. Nexstar Media Group announced it was pulling Kimmel from the 28 ABC affiliates it operates.
ABC also got an earful from the head of the FCC over Monday's broadcast. Chairman Brendan Carr says late night TV needs a wake-up call.
I think there's a lot of commentary on late night having shifted dramatically over the last 10 years. It used to be that they would go for laugh lines, and it's shifted to going for applause lines.
Thursday, President Trump dismissed free speech concerns and celebrated Kimmel's suspension.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago.
On Capitol Hill, several Democratic lawmakers said they do see a threat to free speech.
When the head of the FCC is talking openly about taking away the broadcast license, then that is the government trying to exercise censorship.
Kimmel's contract with the network is up in May of next year.
Some Democrats are calling for the resignation of the FCC chair, and members of the House Oversight Committee want him to testify. In his appearance on CNBC today, Chairman Carr praised the actions of Nexstar and Sinclair Broadcasting, which went further, calling for Kimmel to apologize and make a personal donation to Kirk's political organization. Tariffs are scaring up prices for Halloween goods this year on everything from candy to costumes. Omar Villafranca checks out a shop in Fort Worth, Texas that's trying to keep up.
Spooky season has hit retail stores. And the most frightening thing on the shelf for Halloween shoppers might be the price tag.
Flapper, Gatsby parties.
Derek Kennedy owns Magic Etc. Fort Worth Costume in North Texas. From masks and makeup to costumes, the Halloween season accounts for at least 25% of his yearly sales. This year, Kennedy says the tariffs have had a terrifying effect, like slower shipping times and higher wholesale prices.
Most of the costumes are made overseas, and through the different manufacturers, the tariffs have ranged anywhere from 5% to 19%. There's been not a steady one.
The National Retail Federation expects Halloween spending to hit a record $13.1 billion this year, breaking the previous record of $12.2 billion.
We've seen actually a big focus on discount stores this year. People are aware of what's going on with tariffs, and they're going to invest in what's important to them, but they're also going to be very smart with their money.
There's disco ones, there's leprechaun ones, there's Easter ones.
Kennedy is trying a new trick, treating his loyal shoppers to low prices by absorbing most of the cost of tariffs.
Even though there was a surcharge at the bottom of an invoice of $300, $500, $700 sometimes, I kind of ignored it this year and just tried to price like normal because, you know, people only have so much money to spend.
Are you eating it?
Yeah.
But for some items like fog machines, the price jump is just too big for Kennedy to take on.
I hate to say it, but this machine last year at the same time was $58.
This one right here?
Yes, and now it's $74.
Early shopper Nicole Ruiz says tariffs won't put a damper on her Halloween.
You can be scary, you can be like beautiful, you can be funny, and it's just, I think it's just a great time for everybody to celebrate.
The National Confectioners Association says Americans spent more than $7 billion on Halloween candy last year, and that trend looks to continue, but the prices will be a little bit higher. If you're the house on the block that hands out the full candy bars, a 48-count box was around $40 last year, but now it's well over $50, so plan accordingly.
Mike Ludlam has your look at sports. When we come back, he'll give us a preview of Michigan Tech football as they prepare for their homecoming game this Saturday. We'll be right back.
A man's fight to save a swamp. Tonight's Eye on America takes you to the battle for the Okefenokee Refuge in Georgia.
And food prices keep going up. We'll tell you why and how to keep costs down. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
It's a mic check on a mic for a Thursday. You're already halfway through this month. Isn't that scary? We're already a third of the way through the high school football regulars. Good evening, everyone. The Michigan Tech football team wraps up its non-conference portion of the schedule Saturday with homecoming against Upper Iowa. The Huskies are 3-0 and ranked 24th in this week's American Football Coaches Association Division II poll. Upper Iowa is 1-1. Tech and Upper Iowa both have wins over South Dakota Mines. Tech head coach Dan Metlack says the Peacocks have a very good offense led by quarterback Darrell Overstreet Jr.
They've got some receivers that can go. Quarterback is very talented and does a nice job with his patience in the pocket. So they are going to stress us vertically, horizontally in the pass game on Saturday, and we've got to find a way to get pressure to the Q so he can't just sit back there and do what he wants. But very good from their skill spots offensively, defensively. Back end is talented. A lot like we saw the first 3 weeks in the box. They're big, physical. So they are a very good football team.
There is a different kickoff time at Curley Stadium this Saturday, 4 o'clock for the Peacocks and Huskies. NMU hosts Davenport for homecoming Saturday. Kickoff at the Superior Dome is set for 1 p.m. The NMU men's soccer team opens GLIAC play tomorrow with a contest at home against Wisconsin Parkside. The Wildcats are 1-0-3 overall, earning 2 ties last weekend. Wildcats head coach Alex Fadovich says his defense has been really good thus far, and that starts with the keeper.
What I think is hard for the outside to see is his personality on and off the field. He's just a tremendous human being. Great teammate, great character, and so it's not just the performance on the field that gives us a peace of mind. It's just this overall temperament and how he cares about the guys and the leadership that he brings. So it's been huge to have that, 2 goals in 4 games, and I think it gives confidence to the back line. They're playing well, they send that confidence forward, so it all works together. So all stuff's been massive for us.
Tomorrow's contest with the Rangers begins at noon at the NMU soccer field. The Wildcats have just 1 match this weekend. Let's turn to girls high school tennis. The rain staying away so far this afternoon. Menominee at Marquette. In the far court, Elena Murphy of Menominee at first singles against Marin Johnson of Marquette. Pretty good exchange of ground strokes. Both players try to get to the net, coming up right here, and a quick exchange of volleys. And the next thing you know, Johnson gets a little bit greedy here and slaps that one into the net. One court over at second singles, Nora Skidda of Marquette in the near court against Delaney Wagner of the Maroons. And again, a couple of good strokes, keeping each other at the baseline. And eventually, Wagner will hit this next ball coming up into the net. We will check on the results of this match and others tonight on your WZMQ 19 News at 11. Turning to Comerica Park, Tarek Skubal starting for the Tigers today against Cleveland. You notice the Tigers are only 4.5 games ahead of the Guardians going into this contest. Good start in the second inning. Colt Keith with a double to right field. Wenzel Perez would score, or go to third, I should say. And the Tigers had a 1-0 lead, but they couldn't score after that. Literally. In the fourth inning, John Kensey Noel says Merry Christmas to himself with a 427-foot home run to tie the game at 1. Now, of course, Skubal had to get pulled after about 100 pitches, so here comes the bullpen, and there goes the baseball. That would be Jose Ramirez, a 2-run homer. And the next thing you know, the Guardians are now just 3.5 games behind the Tigers because they won 3-1. The Tigers host Atlanta this weekend. Reports today that Tucker Kraft, the Green Bay Packers tight end, suffered a knee injury at practice. They haven't said what the severity of that injury is yet. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I have a final look at your forecast. Things will continue to be fairly quiet for tonight. Maybe some extra clouds mixing on in tonight, though. Temperatures will be into kind of the mid-50s, and we'll up for tomorrow, not by too much, but this is seasonal. We were kind of spoiled with those above average temperatures, so now we're back down to reality into the mid to upper 60s with some cloudy skies for tomorrow and an isolated to scattered shower. But really, the rain chances over the next 48 hours will be pretty low for you. Makes for perfect conditions for this last weekend of summer. And of course, the first day of fall is this upcoming Monday. And stay tuned for an update on your forecast later tonight.
Will do, Kelly. Thank you. And finally, tonight, the Oscar G. Johnson VA Medical Center in Iron Mountain is celebrating 75 years of serving our veterans. The celebration began with honors bestowed upon distinguished veterans, past and present staff members, and supporters of the Veterans Administration. The festivities then moved outside the facility where a time capsule was buried, not to be unearthed for 100 years. On hand were several veterans, including John Motti, a World War II veteran who fought in the Battle of the Bulge, as well as being captured and held captive by the Nazis. That's all we have for now, everyone. We'll catch you back here again tonight at 11:10 Central. See you then.